Biodiversity. In the previous session or in the previous discussion, we were discussing about the meaning of biodiversity and the types of biodiversity, and also we had a discussion about the few uh, hotspots of biodiversity in India, and just we were going through that four names of those hotspots. We had a discussion. It means we know that Western Ghats, Eastern Himalayas, and Indo-Burma, and few parts of Andaman Nicobar are recorded or considered as a few biodiversity hotspots in India. And we also discussed regarding the national parks, and also we discussed about the wildlife sanctuaries which are there in the India. We have 104 national parks, and we have 566 wildlife sanctuaries in India. Next is these are the simple statistics which is available in the globe or in the worldwide. The statistics, number of plants, it means plants species which are available, which are there in India. Okay, this is just a statistics, and these statistics are not exact statistics, so it may increase also, it will not decrease. If these species are in the extinct level, in the extinct or already extinct, already vanished, then the number may reduce, but normally the number always will increase, because already in the previous session I explained that there are 86% of world species is not yet identified. So still 86% of world species is not yet identified, not yet recorded anywhere, not yet seen to anyone. So Western Ghats, it's a continuation, it's a chain of hills, and also this Western Ghats, because of this Western Ghats, uh, Indian region or Indian parts of this Western Ghats attract more or heavy rainfalls in India, and also this Western Ghats area or this location also called as Indian rainforest. These Western Ghats forests are also called as Indian rainforests, where these Western Ghats are there almost, it means from the sea level almost uh, uh, 2.5, normally 2 to 3 kilometers, or not, it will not reach to 3 kilometers, almost for example for uh, 1.5 2 kilometers to 2.5 kilometers from the sea level height. And this Western Ghats hill station also attract more rainfall, where the clouds are normally moving at the 3 kilometers height from the sea level. So that was just information when I was discussing with one scientist, and few years back he was a scientist. He was working in central government department, and just we had a discussion about the water resource management. There he told, yes, in the Western Ghats we can experience, we can have will have more rainfall because of this reason, where the height of Western Ghats are more, where it attracts the high rainfall. And also this, because of this Western Ghats, many places of this South India, many places of southern India have irrigation facilities, where we have constructed many dams, and we are irrigating, where we'll be able to irrigate, supply of water to all agricultural fields, majority of agricultural fields. That is also one benefit where we have benefit of Western Ghats. And also Western Ghats has more variety of biodiversity. Majority of species in India are, it means unidentified and already identified species are there habitant in this Western Ghats. Even I can also I have experience in roaming in this Western Ghats. Even I've basically come from this Western Ghats place, where there are different kind of plant species, tree species, different animals we can see here in this areas. And also in this Western Ghats, mainly in this near, normally in this total Western Ghats, in that Western Ghats, this Kudremukha National Park or Agumbe region, that regions are called as Kingdom of King Cobra. So there are many such kind of different species we can see here. 62% of reptile species found here. See, just now I mentioned that this Agumbe and few parts of this Western Ghats are called as Kingdom of King Cobra, where 62% of reptiles are found here in this Western Ghats. You can see the image of Western Ghats. See here, Northern Western Ghats, Central Western Ghats, and Southern Western Ghats. Mainly here, Central and Southern Western Ghats has more biodiversity. It means more number of biodiversity, more number of species we can see here. But Northern Western Ghats, not so much, but few. And one more thing I need to tell you, we all know that Ooty, we'll tell that Ooty, many people will visit to this Ooty. It has become a tourist hotspot where many people will visit to this place. And this Western Ghats end, it means this continuous continuous one kind of chain of hill station will end from the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. We have Eastern Ghats also, but Eastern Ghats are not so popular or not having much biodiversity in it. And these Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats ends in Ooty. Okay, that is one important thing where it's a general aspect. And this Western Ghats are spread it over 3 to 4 states, 4, 5 states. One is Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. In these states, these Western Ghats are spreaded. And next is we'll move on to next aspect. The next is Eastern Himalayas. Eastern Himalayas or Eastern Himalayan region. Here, Eastern Himalayan region, it's also a chain of chain of mountains, but it is not like Western Ghats. Here, rarely only few trees or only few uh, kind of plant species we can see because it has more cold or it has more ice in that in such kind of nature. So already I told that it's a Eastern Himalaya. It's a continuation of Himalayan region. It's a continuation of Himalayan mountain. And Eastern Himalayan, you can see here this part, this which is highlighted, this part is called as Eastern Himalayan region. Eastern Himalayan region, mainly here, this part. Bhutan also cover Bhutan also, Nepal, Bhutan, and many northeast states, and not only northeast states, a few other states also located in this region. So this is Eastern Himalayan region. This is also one of the biodiversity hotspot which is located in India. And Himalayas, in that Himalayan region, the thick Himalayan mountains are not considered as or not called as biodiversity hotspot. We all know that where there will be more cold and where the height of these mountains increases, that build it means availability oxygen level, many other things are less, and tree plant species are also less, where more biodiversity, chances of biodiversity is very less in that thick or high mountain or high this Himalayan region. But when it comes to the eastern region of Himalaya, eastern places of Himalayan region, where we can find more, we can see more biodiversity in it, more different kind of species are habiting there. Then next is Indo-Burma. So Burma is, earlier it was called as Burma. Now it is this area is called as Myanmar. Uh, the Burma country was renamed as Myanmar, and this region, the border states which shares their border with states with their shares their border with Myanmar or Burma country. So that region is called as Indo-Burma, where this is also we can also tell that this is also continuation of Himalayan region, but Himalayas will not continue till this Burma or this Myanmar, where because of this huge rivers, because of huge rivers in that area, and because of a continuation, and it's not continuation completely, but Himalayan region ends in the near the northeast states, but in it means when we go forward towards the down or towards the Asian, Southeast Asia, in that area. So this in Myanmar, or in this in India and Myanmar border, where we can find many kind of different species, and it also not only includes, it's not only in Myanmar country. So this area, total area, which is the countries which are sharing border with Myanmar, India, and this state, this area is called as Indo-Burma hotspot. And this also here, few eastern parts of Bangladesh also it is there, and also Malaysia. So these parts totally it is called as Indo-Burma biological or biodiversity hotspot. Then you can see this area. This a small part is called as Indo-Burma area. The small part here, Mizoram, Bangladesh. So this is small parts, Myanmar. This area is called as Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot. And then this is the area. Next is Sundaland. This land is located in the Asian region, Southeast Asian region. In this Southeast Asian region, where even many countries we can see here, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, all this, and few parts of India are identified in this land, in this area, where here also many kind of different species we can find, we can identify different kind of species. And in India represents Andaman Nicobar Islands. So that Andaman Nicobar Islands comes under Indian territory, and that part comes under Sundaland, when where India represents that. And here also different kind of species we all know that Andaman Nicobar Islands are popular for nature, variety in nature. So where we can experience the different climate there. So different species are still there in the, means different species are not yet identified in these islands. And also one more thing, where here still tribes are there, still tribes are there in the thick forest, where they are still living. They are not, they are undiscovered, or we can tell that they have not yet experience the modern things or modern technologies, where they are still in the forest. Still in this, we are in the 21st century, but still few tribal people are there in this Nicobar Islands. So that area, that forest area, or that area, total island area, is called as Sundaland biodiversity hotspot. And also UNO declared this area is World's Biosphere Reserve in 2013. And not only one, this is not only one area which is announced as biosphere, World's Biosphere. Even like this, there are many places are already announced as World's Biosphere. This Sundaland is also one of that. You can see the area of here, this area, and even few parts here. Almost it will come in this area. Not here, here. These places are called as Sundaland biodiversity. By this, we'll conclude this discussion here.